TechTalk is a unique platform devoted to sharing deep, practical knowledge through short tech talks. TechTalk is a monthly event with all IT industries coming together. The TechTalk mission is to bridge stakeholders such as universities, tertiary institutes, companies, entrepreneurs, and pretty much anyone who likes tech and IT, to discover, share, support, network, and exchange bright and original ideas. I would love to introduce the CEO of Techtorium and TechTalk sponsor, Jan. Please, big round of applause.
And I unashamedly use paper to remind myself about what I want to say, because they say I'm really old school and I'm okay with that as well. So thank you, Lyle, and as Lyle said, I'm Jan Hutchinson. I'm the CEO here at Techtorium, and together with Patrick Dowling, who is our founder, we would like to welcome you to the first Tech Talk at Techtorium. And you know, it is absolutely wonderful to see so many of you here. I'm talking to some of our alumni who I haven't seen for a while, and we see where they're up to and what they're doing. Our employment partners, our very special employment partners, as well as researchers and academics from other tertiary institutions and university. It's lovely to have you all here. You're all very, very welcome, and thank you very much for coming. Now, I'd also like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Masoud Shakiba for putting this event on for us and organising it. He is a very valued member of our team. He's a ray of sunshine. So Lyle mentioned the mission of TechTalk is to bring together educators, industry and other stakeholders to share knowledge and exchange ideas. Because the tech industry and the education sector need to work really closely together, because we want to produce as educators tomorrow's tech people that you want to be employing and that you want to be working with. So here at Techtorium, we implemented an innovative learning environment in 2014, and so every day we see the benefits of collaboration, critical thinking and innovation in our learning spaces with our students. And so the fit with TechTalk missions, the TechTalk mission, was quite obvious to us and a really good fit. So we are absolutely delighted to be hosting the first of these events. So thank you for coming. So now, despite my enthusiasm for what we do here at Techtorium, I have been instructed that I'm not allowed to talk a lot about Techtorium. So I'm just going to briefly look at the cameras, wherever they are, and say, give you a little bit of idea about who we are. According to the TEC, the Tertiary Education Commission, and NZQA, we are one of the highest performing tertiary providers in New Zealand. So we love that. We walk the talk and we love technology. So it's lovely for us to be able to do this. So now I'm going to hand you back to Lyle, who's going to take us through what's happening next and who's going to be speaking. I really enjoy and I really look forward to catching up with some of you at the end of this event and at future Tech Talk events. So thank you again for coming. You're very welcome here on our little campus for some of you, but you're very welcome here, and enjoy your evening. So thank you.
Cryptocurrencies, basically, I heard a definition. It was quite a suitable, apt definition from that guy over there, Mike, who's a trainer here, a friend of mine. And it is really just money for the internet, and that's quite a really, you know, it's really quite true. That's really what cryptocurrencies are: money for the internet. You know, as the internet's really developed and exploded in the last, 20, 30 years. You know, the idea of like a digital currency where you can pay for things online and stuff is really consistent with what's happened with the internet. So, the whole thing about cryptocurrency is it's very much like, say, your bank. When you go to the bank and you have a look at your bank and you just see your bank account, you just see a line of information there, the transaction history, some subtractions, some additions, and a summation of your balance. Well, that's really what you said when you have with the cryptocurrency as well. It just really, it's your balance of your crypto holdings in digital form. So blockchain is the thing that underpins cryptocurrencies. It's basically just a software data structure, like a linked list. It's just, you got some blocks of data there. Well, I'd like to do a little demo, a very simple one, but it just might help show what's in a block, for example. So you get this block, it's linked to this block, it's linked to that block, and then it's a series of blocks, and all the history of it, you can't alter it. You can go in there and edit it, but it becomes invalid. So it's very secure in that respect. So it's distributed. What that means is, if you go to a bank, the bank's got this main ledger, it's got all the, bills account, Mary's account, all that. It's all like in a single sort of location. It's very, secure. It's, nobody can see it, nobody can alter it. You've got to be really careful who has access to it and all that. But, this blockchain ledger is shared among all these thousands of nodes. So it's kind of weird in that respect, how it's so, can handle being updated, but it's public information. It's kind of, so it comprises of, the blockchain is comprised of multiple nodes. So you've got this chain of blocks linked together, and you've got a copy here, you've got a copy on this node, you've got a copy on this node, you've got a copy on this node, and you copy on. So it's made up of thousands and thousands of blocks in this piece of software data structure, and then a copy of that exists on all these different nodes, thousands of them. So for that reason, you get this no single point of failure. So in common in computer systems, you get a single point of failure, something goes down, a web server goes down, you've got to fail over and all this sort of thing. You manage the connections, and they normally break and all that. So but I think that certainly the future of blockchain is probably potentially quite big, just because every company's jumping on board these days. So getting involved in that, learning a bit about it is probably quite useful. That's it.
I'm going back 17 years back. I had a minute where I waited for 2 years. I was in a relationship with my wife. I had one few minutes to express all that 2 years of my love and ask my father-in-law the permission to marry her. This 2 years. That's the same feeling I have. This much of experience, this much of testing, things, right? So all to put in 10 minutes. It was previously told 25, now it is 10 minutes, right? So I'm standing on that 1 minute now. Okay, let me start. So the topic I was to speak was the future of testing. So before that, talking about future, let us know what testing is about. A tester is capable of starting an enterprise program at the nth hour. A program which has been valued for nearly multi-million-dollar, but a tester has a value to stop the program at the nth hour of go live, because he's not just finding the issue, he's finding a problem. He's focusing on the risk. It is very critical, and it is on high priority also. But the good thing about this job is, right, it's very fun. I always feel it fun. For 25 years, I enjoy this work. The reason is, I don't have any burden. I just find. I'm not going to fix anything. I'm just finding things. That's the truth. The other thing is, I have the opportunity of exploring many possibilities. I find, all the inconsistencies with something someone has created. Again, I'm not going to fix anything. I'm going to tell them that, oh, these are the problems, these are the inconsistencies you have created, go and fix it, and come back. So what we are calling this industry now as quality engineers. So we are going to bake the quality inside the product. So all these years we have been standing outside. Now we are going inside the life cycle. Okay, be part of it. So that's what Agile said. But still they will not agree that, oh, no, you testers are work in silos. Then they put a framework saying that, no, we want something, because they were not compassionate to what they were doing. They were suspicious on themselves. They wanted some third-party eye to look at it. But they were still overriding something saying that, if they are hiring resources, they want them to be themselves. They want another developer. They did not want a tester. Right? So that's what Agile talks about. So though everyone wants to sit in a room, everyone wants to talk, everyone wants to design, everyone wants to code, and everyone wants to test. So the key thing which was missing was, where is the third eye factor on it? The third eye factor is missing. So that has to come from an independent tester. Right? So only then we can look in a different angle. Otherwise, whatever I do is right. That's a human intention, right? Whatever I do is always right. But someone has to tell him, right? Whether it is software, whether it is engineering or anything, right? So someone has to tell them that this is what is happening, now fix your problem, then give it to the product. So for example, a few months back, Boeing is going to release some 5 different models of flights. So they manufactured the product for 3 years, but they are going to test it for 7 years. They are going to test it for 7 years. That is their test plan. Testing is going to stay. It's going to stay forever as long as there is technology. And as long as humans create something, testing will be there. Thank you.
cognitive computation and neurocomputational models. Thanks, Maryam, and hello everyone. As Maryam mentioned, I'm going to talk about the brain data and how we can record and measure this data. But before going to a measurement part, let's have a quick journey through the brain. As you know, human brain is a complex organ in the body, and this 3-pound mass of gray and white matter sits at the center of all human activity. You need it to drive a car, to listen to music, to enjoy a meal, to create an artistic masterpiece, and to enjoy everyday activities. In brief, the brain regulates your body's basic functions and enables you to interpret and respond to everything that you are experiencing, and also to shape your emotion, your thought, and behavior. As you can see, the brain is made of different parts, that different parts of the brain corresponding for performing specific functions. For example, posterior area of the brain corresponding for visual information processing, but the frontal area of the brain corresponding for higher level of information processing, such as decision making, human choice behavior, preference. Information processing starts with input from sensory organ, which transform physical stimuli such as touch, heat, sound, or photons of the light into electrochemical signals. In fact, the brain cells, every brain cells, receive and transfer chemicals such as sodium, potassium, chloride into electrical currents. And what I'm doing, I'm just putting this head on his head, and to show you the electrical activities that are coming from his brain.
Great.
And you see, these just circles they are corresponding to different areas of the brain. That some of them are black, but we just try to make them green, which means we have a really clear or clean connection with his brain. So as you can see, this signal is quite complex to understand. It has spatial information. It means that the location of the neuronal activity in the brain, and it has a temporal pattern, so it changes over time. So we can see some small changes when he moves or he does something. But generally, it's quite difficult to understand. For example, if you want to see what is the difference between eye closed and eye open, so it's not that noticeable when you're looking at the signals. Yes.
What's going on in there, Phil?
So just try to be relaxed, close your eyes.
Just a normal day at work.
So we are not going to analyze actually your brain data at the moment. So it's just so as you just saw, this data is quite complex to understand. Now I'm going to introduce to you one of the recent promising trends of artificial intelligence that can be used to understand this data. This is a brain image part artificial intelligence system, which is called NeoQ, which is a neurocomputational development that has been developed at K3 by several researchers under the supervision of Professor Kasabo. So this architecture represents that NeoQ has several modules. The first module is the input module, which we record data. It can be any types of spatial temporal data, for example, EEG data. The second phase is transferring this data into some sequence of events that represent some significant change in your brain data. When you have some significant change, as you saw, it means that something is happening in your brain data. So we encode that changes into sequence of binary events, which call spikes. And that new transformation or representation of data will be passed to a three-dimensional space of artificial spiking neurons, where the spatial information of the brain data are actually topologically preserved. You can see that it has a brain shape. And then this model learns some patterns from sets of streaming data, and that learned pattern can be used for prediction or classification. I'd like to finish this presentation with this inspired, really interesting sentence by famous psychologist Sigmund Freud, that listen to what people say and what people don't say. Unspoken words are the usually most important, as they are the hidden secrets or truth. That's the thing.